Buddy, we are honored to have on the air with us John Nichols, National Affairs Correspondent for The Nation magazine. His most recent book is Horsemen of the Trumpocalypse. We're going to talk to him about anything now we do know about Iowa. John, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
I'm doing well, and I'm delighted to be with you, my friend.
Any new news? I mean, I've been on the radio now for a couple hours, and I don't know if the last thing I heard was, 71% of precincts reporting. What do we now know out of Iowa? Anything new?
You're such an optimistic man. You think that in 2 hours the Iowa Democratic Party could count some votes?
I don't know. No,
you're wrong.
All
no,
right.
Nothing's changed.
Okay.
We're still at about 71%.
Yeah.
Or it's all, remember, they were all counted in the precincts themselves.
Yeah.
But in this tabulation at the Democratic headquarters down south of Des Moines,
in looking at the precincts that have not yet counted, to the extent we can know what's been counted, what hasn't, is there anything to suggest that the result, how it's shaping up, which is essentially Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg in roughly a tie, with Bernie Sanders probably winning the total number of votes cast and Buttigieg winning by a nose the number of delegates, and Elizabeth Warren coming in third, Biden coming in fourth, and Klobuchar doing a respectable fifth. Anything that in the remaining 29% that suggests that won't hold? John, you with us?
There's plenty of opportunity in what's out to see a little bit of reshuffling there.
Yep.
There is certainly the chance that Bernie Sanders could move into that top position.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks like you've got a lot of urban areas and some places where, that's within the realm of possibility.
And the reason I ask, in my home state, Portland votes differently than other parts of the state. Not fundamentally differently, and so very often you see an election result, but Multnomah County hasn't been counted. And so people end up doing their prognostication based on how close things are before Multnomah County is counted. If the Republican is a little bit ahead before Multnomah County is counted, then everybody knows, but it's only a little bit ahead, everybody knows the Democrat's going to win by a healthy margin. But I don't know Iowa well enough, and I definitely don't know what's been counted well enough.
So you're exactly right to ask those questions. And here's the bottom line. Polk County, which is Des Moines, it's the big vote generator. Only 112 of 177 precincts are in there. So they're only at about 63% counted even now. They're below where the statewide average is. So, yes, you could see some real variation there. You've still got 7 precincts out in Johnson County, which is the very, very liberal Iowa City county. You could have a real possibility. Remember, we're talking a tiny separation between Buttigieg and Sanders.
Yeah, what rides on it? Why do we care so much? I mean, is there going to be a difference of more than a delegate or two? I suspect the primary will be decided by more than a delegate or two.
No, here's the interesting thing. You know what it rides on? It's our modern media age, right?
Yeah.
Our modern media likes a one-line. Twitter is too verbose for our modern media. Our media wants
140 characters, way too many.
Yeah, who won, right? You want to be able to do it in like 2 words. Buttigieg won, Sanders won.
And the interesting thing is, in Iowa, it was really valuable to talk to a journalist on the ground in Iowa yesterday who said, ain't nobody wins. If you get 50% plus one, then you win. You might come in first, but you don't win. Yeah. And so we're not talking about who's going to be a winner or not. It's like, do you get another delegate or two? And I appreciate bringing up the media because I do think there's been so much ado about what's happening in Iowa. If there really were fraud going on, then I would care a lot about it too. With a paper record, do you have any concern about that there's any nefarious dealings going on, or is it just taking a while to count?
Oh, I would put it in another ground altogether.
Okay.
I don't think there's conspiracies. I'm not a big believer in those. I think there's scorching incompetence. Literally people who couldn't set up a county fair booth. And I think they got a bad...
Well, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, where do you screw in the tabletop? There's a bunch of things I don't know.
The data involves making sure you show up with the chairs.
How do you get it there? That. I guess you could truck.
But they got a bad app They set up a hotline that didn't pick up. They just did a horrible job of managing things as it all melted down. I mean, this is not to be treated casually. This was a badly done response to a challenge, and it has fostered all sorts of distrust, all sorts of doubt. What I would argue is this: the biggest challenge right now for this, for the Iowa Democratic Party, which has probably lost the caucuses permanently. I mean, they're probably done as first in the nation status. But their big challenge right now.
You think so? That's your own prediction. We can call it here that John Nichols, national affairs correspondent for The Nation magazine, has said that Iowa will no longer be the first state of the union to weigh in on the Democratic or maybe even Republican nominations. That's the shot you're calling?
Yeah, I am calling that. Yeah, I would be pretty shocked after all this. It's a real mess. But here's the important thing is, with that said, they still have a deep duty, and their deep duty is to not hold. That
sounds dirty. Go ahead.
Deep duty.
I'm sorry. I'm a child. I'm not proud of it.
For it.
I hope everybody. I hope Sean just deletes what I just said from the podcast, and even just puts me on mute. I am ashamed of myself. Please continue, sir. We have a deep duty.
A deep duty. Two. Stop holding press conferences where you apologize and whine and stuff like that, and get in there at 24/7 and get a clean final result. Yeah. They've got the data. All they got to do is check it, tabulate it, and here's the real tragedy of it, Jeff. They had this information, and they put it out. It was like.
You're cutting out a little bit. I think your cell phone's giving it, but we're about to go to break anyway. John Nichols from The Nation. I also agree with that last point you made, and thank you for being with us. That had they just said, hey, we're going to try this app, it was going to be a faster way of doing it. The app didn't really work. We're going to give you the results the way we usually do them, which is hand tabulation. It's going to take a couple days. Calm down. Maybe that would have been a little better.